Hey, hey.
Hey, what's new?
Hey, I got a feeling I've been talking and nobody could hear me.
I just got. I was
I've been
wondering.
drawing and I didn't bring myself into the studio, so I don't think my mic was on.
Ah,
That's all right.
that could
I'm
that
just messing
happened.
around tonight.
Yeah.
So
So
how's it going?
so far so good. What you drawing?
Just a guy, some musclehead running. Uh, Jace was studying anatomy, so I'm kind of just playing around with that. I
Oh,
don't think he's coming. He would have been here by now, but yeah, he's going to be inheriting my iMac. So in a week or two here, he'll be able to join me the same way on his iPad,
okay.
and hopefully he'll get more involved.
So
That's the goal.
yeah.
So you got any good projects going on?
Oh, not yet. I'm just practicing right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of messing around with a Cyclopean story, but
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see. I got to get it past Diana and Jace, the two editors,
Yeah.
after Cluster Fudge. Although it's that's going to be done in a few weeks here, and
Yeah.
I'll need a new project. So
Yeah. So yeah.
do you have or HBO Max?
Yeah, I do.
Have you watched King Kong yet?
Not yet.
I'm watching it right now. It's almost over. I didn't plan it very well. I thought I'd be able to get through to 7 o'clock, but
Uh,
failure.
the thing is, everybody's picking a side to who they're back. Me, I can't do that because I love both of these characters.
Yeah,
I've
well,
seen
I
I've
sided
seen
with I said Godzilla just because he's got God in his name, but
the
really I
thing is,
root for Kong.
the thing is I've seen the original versions of both movies and I enjoyed them a little too
Yeah.
much.
Yep. Yeah, I actually like the originals too. Although the Godzilla one, I'm not sure which one is the original. They're all,
Yeah,
the original ones are so old.
yeah,
I've never
true.
paid enough attention.
You gotta realize one thing about Kong and Godzilla. They're both doing the same thing, saving humanity from itself.
Yeah. Well, I'm
So
watching the climactic ending right now, and I won't
don't
give away any spoilers, but
do that. Don't.
it's
I
interesting.
know it's one of those things that for some reason it's always gonna be interesting.
But the way they're ending it is different. I didn't expect this. So, okay, good for them. Kept me surprised. Yeah, I'll have to watch it again though, believe it or not. It was pretty busy.
Well, longtime fans were wondering if Kong and Godzilla were ever gonna meet.
Oh
So
yeah.
it only took what, close to 100 years.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sold on the CG approach to this, but it still
I know.
worked. It
I
was
know.
good.
It was
And I mean, in this new one, they did a great job. It's just I still miss the rubber suits.
that and the rubber suits and most of the puppeteering that they did, especially when they did Kong climbing the
Yep.
Empire State Building and Godzilla crushing a power station in Tokyo.
Okay, the one thing I will say about
Oh
this
man,
movie, it feels like Guardians of the Galaxy has influenced a lot of movies lately. All these action adventure movies that try to play some 70s and 80s hits. It's like, come on, nostalgia on this, just rock it. But I guess that's going to be the trend until it's no longer the trend.
yeah. But the thing is, we Guys like us, we're used to the practical effects when
Yep.
it comes to movies like this. So,
Yeah, and it isn't that the CG isn't good. It's just sometimes they do things that you're like, yeah, that could never happen in real life,
right.
and yet you're looking at it, so it tries to trick your mind.
Mm, tries, but sometimes it's a hit or miss thing. You got to remember that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just goofing here, but eventually, this could be something. I'm trying to decide whether or not to bring back some more of my old childhood characters, and this could be one of them. But I have to redesign his suit
Okay.
because he's
Not bad.
totally like old spandex guy. But that's the logo that I just redid for the guy. He used to just have a B with a circle,
Mhm.
and I'm like, yeah, that sucked. So trying to come up with something. I'm not feeling it quite yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
It's
That's
that yeah, it's that process of creation where you're like, yeah, but I know there's something there. I gotta
keep
just gotta
going at
keep
it.
at it. Cyclopean though, he's gonna be cool. I'm really messing with his character a lot.
Hmm.
I'm gonna bring him out more solo than part of a team.
Yeah, that's
Even though the
fun.
government's gonna try to saddle him with a handler.
Are you gonna be one of those guys? One of those guys that always lose the handler?
Well, he definitely will in this one, and that's see the character I want to bring back from my childhood would be
Hmm.
his initial handler. But
Okay.
he needs somebody who can translate sign language, keep an eye on him, make sure that he's not getting in trouble
Right.
because he's got like superpowers, but he's deaf.
Yeah.
So he's really cool, but he's also a liability.
Now that's cool.
I like it. It's going to be interesting if I can pull off the drawing, the sign, and him signing well enough
Right.
to make it believable.
Hmm.
So far, I don't think I have. I tried it in a couple of issues and still needs work, but I need to actually learn how to speak the language.
Yeah.
Sign language. I'm still using Google to figure out how they say stuff, and that's not going to
That's
be fluid enough. Yeah. Yuck. Yeah.
well,
I don't like
one of
his
the,
head. His head's way off.
it's one of those things that no matter how hard you try, you're gonna be disappointed with it at first, and then you're gonna look at it again and say, maybe if I do it this way or this way, it might work.
The coolest thing about it, though, is that it gives you a lot of opportunity to practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Character design, getting the feel for the character.
exactly.
It's a fun little journey.
I love it. Hmm.
Yeah, I do too. It's funny because people talk about Stan Lee and how great he was, but I think one of the reasons he was great was because they were spinning off characters like
Yeah.
left and right, keeping up, and not
Hmm.
every one of their characters became well
Right.
known and beloved. But for
That's
every like 10 duds, they had like one good hit, and
exactly.
you do that long enough,
Hmm.
you end up with the
People get
Avengers.
ooh. And to think the Fantastic Four was their answer to the Justice League.
Yeah, my gosh. It kind of goes to show you can be inspired and still
Right.
be completely different.
If you think about it, the Fantastic Four was a little more interesting than the Justice League because of how they interacted with each other.
Oh hell yeah. And they literally had like everything there: civil rivalry, best friends, romance, tension.
Right. Exactly.
It was really a nice mix.
Mhm.
As opposed to the Super Friends,
Yeah.
which is kind of what JLA really was, wasn't it? I mean, it's just
Yeah. But basically,
heroes being polite and fighting bad guys.
yeah. But you have to remember the entire DC lineup is like gods trying to be human.
Yeah. Yep. And Marvel, it was almost the exact opposite. Humans trying to be gods.
Hmm.
Uh,
Even though there were a few gods in there, but they were more human than God
right.
in their personality.
Yeah, it was always funny to see Thor struggle and realize
Hmm.
that he's like supposed to be 5,000 years old or something, 2,000 years old, whatever it is. You think they'd learn something in all that time?
Right. And then you crack up when Loki realizes that he screwed up something that he should have never screwed up.
I don't know what you're referring to, but Loki does screw up all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying in general.
In general,
Yes, I agree.
because he's so meticulous, he has his prank planned out so well, and if for some reason something happens and he gets screwed up along the way.
Yeah. Well, evil is as evil does kind of thing. That was one thing I kind of liked about Stan Lee.
Mm-hmm.
It was always like it always ended up feeling good versus evil, no matter how stupid.
But it was.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not feeling it tonight, but that's okay. I've been
No.
working. I'll show you what I've been working on. Let me see if I can pull it up. That's what I've been working on.
Ah.
And it's not very good if you get in close, but because when you're out,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna work. But that's gonna end up being the splash page for Cyclopean, probably with an inset panel of a chick in the lower right talking.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
this has taken me days to put together, photo referencing a shot from a cityscape of New York.
mm-hmm. Well, what you should have done was set it in your hometown.
Yeah, well, he may end up there, but this is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be where the government basically tells the translator what they're actually doing.
Ah.
So there's a meeting going on, and through
Okay.
that, I'm going to give like a dose of exposition on his origin,
Mm-hmm.
like a quick rundown, because she's going to she being the interviewer, is going to tell him, tell Cyclopean, or tell the translator that he's working with this one-eyed alien mutant freak. And of course he'll be kind of nervous and kind of resistant, but I think he'll take the job.
He should.
Otherwise, the story's not going to go very far.
Well, the reason why I say he should because he's got two options: take go home and be bored, or take the job and see how many pranks he can pull on his handler.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be fun, I think. And the story that I'm working on, kind of not really with Jace. Jace isn't really co-writing it, but he's giving me his little nod of "that's not cool, that is cool" thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I might end up incorporating it into Cyclopean. Like, I think it's time I started focusing on one character and making it more of a trademark, a well-known thing.
Right.
Uh, just because I'm not having much luck the other way.
That's what I
And
say. When I do this, it's gonna star one character, so it's like I can focus more on that and then get it out.
yeah, I've kind of taken everything backwards, and I'm okay with that. But that's kind of how I do it. It's always been
Mhm.
stupid like that. When I got
Well,
into music, I was making demos before I could learn. Before I learned how to play,
mm,
and I did eventually learn how to play. But those first demos sure did suck.
what did you learn from the demos? That's the question.
Oh, you got to, yeah. Oh shoot. Let's see what I got going on here. Diana should be home soon. She's out
Well,
and about.
now you understand why most cityscapes are traced.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Ethan Van Sciver was talking about that, and
Mhm.
I mean, like the basic shapes and stuff are easy to photo reference.
Right.
But if you look at these details, I should have traced, because when you get in close, I don't have enough skill, whatever you want to call it, to get those details right. I don't even, it's like up here, I'm just dashing and stuff. Dun, 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 dun.
Right.
But when I pull back, it's all right.
The further away the building is, it's all right to do the dashes and the dots. But
Yeah. And I figure, this is going to be, well, that's actually at 100% of a comic page. It's hard to tell for you guys,
Mm,
but I've been drawing most of it up here. So like when I pull back, it looks reduced, which is nice.
yeah,
I can't wait to see this kind of stuff on paper, though. That's where it really shines.
I know.
This is that same guy that I'm kind of cross designing now. When he was in my youth, he was a teenager, like my buddy Tony, because we inspired the characters off ourselves.
Hmm.
So now I'm picturing, a 50-year-old hero, uh, very experienced and able to translate
Yeah.
sign language. But we'll see. I don't know.
It's a good thing you're changing the costume because it looks a little too much like the original Nick Fury.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, this part here, that's new. That was all me just messing around, but he does look too Nick Fury, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, or Reed Richards, who needs a shave, but I think it's closer to Nick Fury.
It's close to Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Given the outfit, yeah. The
And this
outfit.
is just crap I've been working on trying to get his character down for Cyclopean.
Hmm.
I think I've shown this one already, but this is like my favorite one right now. It's in my wallpaper. And that costume is toast, but it's going to be toast through the first issue. Like it's going to get destroyed.
Yeah.
But I have a new design for him. I just figured I'd play with this one last time and
Yeah.
kind of add some depth to his character, I hope.
Yeah, after this costume gets destroyed, you can create a new costume for him.
Well, and it doesn't, it's kind of funny because he can be one of those characters. He doesn't need a trademark costume because that eye pretty much covers that.
Right.
It's like whatever he wears, he's pretty much going to be him.
Mm.
Boom. So again, I just scratch these out and keep going. And I don't have a storyline that I'm working on. So it's just really, I'm just messing around. When we do these, like, organized,
Yeah.
I'll probably be looking to Jace for some direction. Like he's working on anatomy and he's got a, what you want to call it? Like a class syllabus that he's following.
Hmm.
But it's always cool to see how like the classes are teaching it.
Yeah.
It was funny because like he's trying to get really specific on his anatomy, and I was explaining to him I'm trying to learn how to like do anatomy without doing anatomy. I want even fewer lines to define the muscles,
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I want to see every muscle. And I'm
Well,
looking at a John Byrne photo going, that's not the way the master did it. I'm going to do it this way. I've been looking at him a lot lately, his stuff, and it's just unreal what the guy can do with a few lines. He's got that Jack Kirby feel, even though he draws way better than Kirby.
yeah.
But it's like just a few lines suggest the muscle, a couple of lines, a couple of shadows, and you can't tell. It feels like he spent forever on it, and I know he didn't.
Right.
Not his quick arms and stuff. And his
Like
shading was incredible too.
Yeah, it's like Frank Frazetta.
Yes.
Dude, he took anatomy at some point in his life because it's like almost perfect.
Yep. And Jim Lee has it too. So
Mhm.
it's funny though, some of my other favorites like Todd McFarlane and even Rob Liefeld to a different degree,
Mhm.
they got horrible anatomy. Like McFarlane will throw a leg up over the shoulder like nobody's business. And I know
Right.
he did that with Spider-Man because it was Spider-Man, but sometimes I see it and I'm like, dude, that's just not even physically possible. The hip joint should pop out. What the hell?
The thing was, because Spider-Man has the strength and agility of a 150-pound spider,
Yeah,
every artist before Todd McFarlane was focusing on the man instead of the spider.
that's true. And it's funny you say that because I was looking at Fantastic Four 250. It happens to be one of two actual Fantastic Four issues I have in my library right now.
Mhm.
And I just forgot what I was going to say. Oh shit! What were we just talking about?
We were talking about how the emphasis on Spider-Man with Todd
Yes,
McFarlane was
okay.
Spider,
In
not the man.
250, I'm sorry, I forgot. Yes, in 250, Spider-Man is drawn in it. And the way Byrne drew it was technically beautiful, but so lame compared to the way McFarlane does it. And it's
Yeah.
noticeable. Like it's
Mhm.
very marble looking, standard Spider-Man,
Right.
non-spaghetti web. And it was like that was the only part of the issue I was disappointed in, because I realized it. I was like, oh, he's not very good at Spider-Man compared to the Master, you know.
Mhm.
And yet, if you were to literally take the Master and throw him in an art class, I'm sure he'd do fine. But he's got
Right.
all sorts of like weird quirks to his body, his face, his eyes, and it
Right.
all works.
Yeah. Ew. And Todd McFarlane didn't give the spaghetti webbing its name.
Yeah, I don't know who gave that its name, but it's
One of the editors did because he was mad with Todd at the way he drew it. It came out like, "What's with the spaghetti weapon?" Kyle was like, "That's good,"
yeah.
because he didn't have a name for it.
I remember I watched some interview and he was talking about them complaining about it and how he was like, "Look, I'm selling millions of copies. Why are you complaining?"
Exactly.
But that's Marvel, I guess, or any editor when you're trying to rock the boat will do that.
Mhm.
And usually they're right, but they can be wrong.
Yeah. But the thing was, he wasn't changing Spider-Man's look. He was just getting it so that he doesn't have to tell everyone that about his agility. He could show it.
Yep. Well, it was kind of funny because, like you say, he didn't change the look, and you're technically correct. Like the costume was the costume. It
Mm-hmm.
was the way that he
He
added the
moved.
flow. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and in that sense, Spider-Man became a whole new not a whole new hero, but a whole new look. It was like it was
Right.
so cool to see this. And what was even cooler was everybody else trying to copy him after. I love Mike. I think his name is Mark Bagley, actually, but
Mm-hmm.
he was nothing till he started ripping off Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
And I guess I shouldn't say that because nobody was really ripping him off any more than people were ripping off Kirby when they were drawing the characters he drew.
Exactly.
But still, it's kind of funny.
Most of these guys got inspiration from Kirby and Steve Ditko and a few others.
Yeah, Ditko's a funny one because I've been told that my art looks like his sometimes, and I
It
never
does.
thought of him as an influence at all. You know what I mean?
It does. If you're into early Spider-Man and a few other books that he did for DC, yeah.
Well, and that's weird too because that's exactly where it would come from because I was a Spider-Man fan, and it
Mm-hmm.
would be early Ditko. But like, I've never thought of Ditko as an influence. You know, like I like Spider-Man, but I wasn't a guy who went and like bought the question and then had to go find the answer. Didn't he do question and answer? I don't know.
He did the question, I know, but I'm not sure about the answer.
I think he might have come up with the answer as like his own generic version of the question. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm not all that huge of a fan of his, so it's kind of weird. Other than Spider-Man, I mean, I remember he did some stuff for Marvel that really sucked in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
When you read the stuff that he when he was doing Spider-Man, it was like it really grabbed you. That's the whole point.
yep.
That's why someone said that you when you draw certain things, you kind of look like him.
Well, I think the run he did on Machine Man, I think that's what it was. Kind of lost me as a fan for a while. Because Machine Man was kind of like a poor man's android of Iron Man to me, you know,
Right. Right.
and he really messed it up.
Machine Man was what you'd call a work in progress. I don't think it was ever finished.
Yeah,
Most comic fans saw Machine Man as a work never finished.
I would have to agree with that. Kind of like, even though I know they did some ending with him,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was. The Jack of remember the Jack of Hearts?
Yeah.
He was another one I liked a lot, and I don't know what they did to him, but I know they killed him or something.
Something. Yeah. something like that. But these are characters that, even though these are characters that were meant to pass the time, and not be permanent. But
Right.
the stories they were put in were excellent reads.
Yeah, if you have a good writer, they can take a crummy character and make it work.
Exactly.
I'm not feeling it. It's off. I would do this. Let's see. Oh, wrong one. I like freehand selections, and that was circle. That won't work. Yeah, just move his head a little bit. I didn't like where it was. And that, my friends, is why I love digital.
And this is why I do digital rarely, because when it comes to mistakes, I can keep the mistake and just learn from it.
Yeah, no, I'll just move it. Or erase it, or yeah. It can be frustrating though if you don't get in a groove and you're on digital and like
Hmm.
all you're doing is looking at a blank screen because you keep going back and erasing.
Right.
The one good thing about like bad sketches is you can go look or touch up later or change up, and but once you erase it digitally, you only have so many undos to get it back.
Exactly.
Actually, I think Photoshop might have unlimited undos now, but I know Procreate doesn't.
Mhm.
And I'm not going Photoshop anytime soon. Too expensive. And it's too proprietary, I think. I'd be afraid Adobe would take my rights away.
Yeah.
It used to be when you bought Photoshop, you got a copy of it and you could just run it as long as you could get it to run.
Not anymore.
No, now you got to subscribe to that crap. And it's funny, I actually have a free subscription available through my work,
Hmm.
and I've refused it. And they're like, "Why? It's free." And I'm like, "I don't even want to get used to Adobe. I don't want to
Right.
fall
And
back
then
into that."
again, once you do use it, it's like, if you want plan to make money off anything you do on it, yeah, you need the subscription.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, they've got a market on that now. And I don't really understand why a consumer is attracted to it, but maybe it's because they're like the biggest and only show in town to most. But
Well, the thing is, most schools use it.
yeah, we do.
That's the first program they learn in school.
Yep.
It's Photoshop, Illustrator, anything by Adobe, with the exception of the CAD programs, which is made by Autodesk.
Right. And actually, Autodesk has a nice freebie sketchbook program too.
Yeah.
A lot of
It used,
people don't know about it, but it's good.
you used to have to pay $4.99 a month for it.
Yep.
You can get everything, but now they just made it so that all you have to do is create an account and then
Yeah,
go
and
from
I
there.
think that was probably because even free, it wasn't doing that great.
Mhm.
But when they have it out like that, their company, everything gets recognized a little easier, a little better.
Because you can go from Sketchbook Pro to any of the CAD programs, even to the 3D Scope program.
I've used that one too.
I've had fun with it,
I had to teach a class with it, and it was interesting to
especially
say the
on
least.
especially on the tablet. It's fun to use because I was using it to create all types of swords and
Yep,
stuff like that.
we were using it to 3D print, but
Hmm.
we quickly found the limitations of our printer. Like the app could do more amazing things than our printer was capable of, whether that was size or intricacy of threads. Like our printer must have been a toy comparatively because it didn't want to make anything properly. Uh,
No, it couldn't.
so I wonder where my son is. He was supposed to join. I didn't send him a message though. He'll probably blame that.
Well, if you sent them the message the same time you sent me mine,
No, I didn't. I forgot to send him one.
wow.
Dude, I'm the worst. Like you probably think I'm rude as shit, but I forget to contact people. I end up zoned out in front of a sketch pad somewhere. Well, actually an iPad. But it's like I kind of feel bad for people who are my friends because I'm like, oh yeah, did I forget again, motherfucker? It's
Uh,
horrible.
well, it's one of those things where you have to, because you, first of all, when you told me about this, you were kind of skeptical about it. I could tell by the words you used.
Yeah, you know what? I was worried that it wouldn't get any views, but now
Mm.
I'm kind of like, so what? I don't get a lot of views anyways.
Oh, but then again, when you just start, you start just drawing and stuff like that, it's all good.
Yeah, I was telling Jace the only time I've really done that was the 24-hour comic, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I know you had more fun doing that than anything else.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it this year again. I what is it like in September? I think
It's October, first
October.
Saturday in October. Always.
Yeah, a lot of practice between here and then. I got to come up with a style that's quicker. Although that's what I'm trying to do with the John Burns stuff. You know, it's
Hmm.
to me it just blows my mind the way that he just does. You know, and I'm looking at his stuff. Like I don't even look at the Terry Austin stuff so much because
Yeah.
Austin added his own thing to it. But
Yeah.
Byrne inked a lot of his stuff, a lot of his own stuff, and it was like, wow, shit,
Yeah.
this guy does some work. Oh, the pinup pages. Yes, these are all just things that I'm kind of done with for now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, some of them are in works in progress, but not really.
Yeah.
Ugly
I
guy.
like, I like pinup pages, but thing is, nobody does them anymore
What?
unless you count publishers like Xenoscope or Brian Polito's Coffin Comics, who they still do pinups and
Yeah,
specialty issues, stuff like that.
pinups are fun. It's just the only problem with them is I think some artists exclusively do that, and then
Yeah,
like they suffer sequentially.
they do.
Like I know one guy, he's a fantastic artist, and I keep telling him he should just start doing comics because he loves comics too. And he
Hmm.
keeps telling me I'm not a sequential artist, and I'm like, but you don't have to stay that way. You can do a couple of stories and start getting the hang of it. And
You're
he,
right.
he keeps doing his pinups.
Mhm.
I figure once he gets bored, he'll come out of that.
And the thing is with the Xenoscope, they do this cosplay pinup issue, this cosplay issue every year, and
Right?
it's fun to look, and it's fun to look at.
Are they real people cosplaying?
Now they got their characters from the Grimm fairy tales and all these other
Ah,
characters doing
yes, yes.
cosplay. Yeah, they got their characters cosplaying as April O'Neil from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff like that.
That must be pretty cool. Shoot. All
And
right.
it's fun.
Yeah, cosplay is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it particularly because I really, all I could be is Fat Thor right now.
No,
Um,
no, no, what they did 2 years ago, one of the characters was late getting to a costume shop because she was late getting to the convention, which was funny. She ended up fighting one of her arch enemies in the costume shop,
no kidding.
which was funny.
Yeah, I haven't seen him fight. I've seen him pose.
Mm.
Maybe this year we'll be going to, I guess, more conventions now. Diana's got a few lined up now that
Okay.
COVID is starting to disappear again.
Well, yeah.
It could come back. They were talking about variants and stuff. I'm not worried about it, but they could end up closing down stuff because of it.
Yeah.
I think, I still can't, I can't get too worried about a disease with, I don't know, 99.9% survival rate. I'm like,
Yeah.
it sucks whenever anybody dies, but like we kind of took this way overboard.
Yeah.
In about 50 years, I think we're going to hear about it and through history, and they're going to be laughing at us.
Of course. And the reason why they're gonna laugh is the way it because the way it is, it's almost like the flu or the common cold.
Yep. And I mean, I've had it. My family's had it. We do know one person that died, but otherwise it's like, yeah, everybody's fine. And the one
Hmm.
person that died, she was already ill on other stuff, you know?
Right.
It's like, okay, that sucks, but it's kind of life. If COVID hadn't appeared, it probably would have been the flu to take her out.
Right. And then you got a lot of people who are saying that the only reason they came up with this was to get rid of Trump.
I don't think that's true, but I do think that they played it up intentionally to try to hurt Trump.
Right.
Um, and whether or not he had a good plan or not, I don't even know anymore because it got so convoluted.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, he's got enough shit. Why don't you guys just concentrate on all the reliable stuff you can? But no, they made COVID a big issue, and I don't know, like it's screwed up a lot. Kids in school, for instance, they're going to be screwed up for years. Like this will be
Exactly.
the messed up COVID generation who don't do well in school because they
Yeah.
got used to just sitting home playing on computers.
Hmm.
I don't know. I work with a lot of them.
And most of the little kids,
Oh
they don't like going to school through Zoom because
no,
there's really nothing to do.
exactly.
If they were going, what's the point of staying home and sitting around if you can't do nothing?
Not only that, but they're limited to outside interact. It's not like they're having a snow day.
Right.
They're still stuck inside no matter what. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, kids, this is COVID. Enjoy. But they don't enjoy, and I don't blame them.
No, I can't blame them because
Yeah.
it's like they look and because they're probably sitting next to a window as they go through school. It's like,
I'm
man,
sure it just tears at them.
I
Tears
know,
at me.
I know, not being able to go outside at any point. That's the thing.
Yeah. And some parents are fanatical about it. So, like, the kids really do suffer at home.
Exactly.
They have a new commercial of a kid running around with Tide wipes or something because they
Mm.
kill disinfectant. And he's wiping everything just to be sure. And I'm like, that's paranoia, man. That
That's
kid's,
paranoia. That is paranoia to
yeah.
the.
He's wiping everything, though, just to be sure. Oh, gosh.
Mm.
Let me die already, God.
That's probably what that kid is thinking. I
The
wouldn't
actor or
be
the character?
the kid. The kid both. In this case, it we both.
I feel bad for actors in this time because they've really gotta they either gotta, be genuinely woke and into all this stuff or just keeping their mouth shut and cashing a check.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of cracks me up because I think I would keep my mouth shut and cash the check if I was an actor because they anytime they talk, they hurt my ears. Gail
Most of
Gadot said something today about Amber Heard should be believed over Johnny Depp. And I don't know what happened in England, but I know what happened here. And she sounded like she was the abuser.
she
And I'm like,
was. That's the
why
whole
is
point.
Gail Gadot saying we need to believe women before? Like, it was one of those believe them even if you don't know for sure. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you gotta balance that, you know. Otherwise, like Johnny Depp's career is ruined, and he may never really star in a major motion picture again because of this. And it's like, no, that's not right, especially if Amber was the abuser. The hell. But Gail Gadot, Wonder Woman, disappointed me and said she felt that we
Yeah.
should support a woman whenever they claim abuse. And I'm like, oh, that's a bad precedent, buddy.
The problem is you're only going on one side of the story.
Yeah. And like I fully acknowledge if a woman says somebody attacked her, she needs help because either she is a victim or she's sick enough to accuse somebody of being a victim, of
Yeah.
victimizing her when they weren't.
Right.
But you got to be careful, like, to what you call the perpetrator until you know what's happening. Is she legit?
Exactly.
Did this really happen?
Exactly.
Shoot. All right. What time is it? 7:52.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna close this and open up Hero Shack in 8 minutes, but I need to take a break.
Okay.
And Diana just got home. So I'll see you at 8, right?
Yeah.
All right,
Send me
bro.
about 8 minutes.
I'll be back.
All right.